welcome to the Bear Grease Render. We've got quite the crew here. Quite the crew. Got Isaac Neale. It's been a while since Isaac's been here.
Feels good to
see you.
Yep.
Feels good. Feels good to be here.
Got the band back together.
The band's back together. Bear Newcomb.
Nostril Newcomb.
Nostril Newcomb. Landbridge is here. And then Moe Shepherd is here.
Oh, Moe.
Glad to be here again.
The deer hunter.
It's like that time of year, like when the deer go into rut, like Moe kind of shows up.
Yeah.
Shows up in the render.
Yeah.
You've got him patterned, and then all of a sudden,
his home range gets a lot
My
bigger.
home range expands, and I show up places I've never hardly ever show up. So.
Yep. That's right. Okay, so I've been talking with Giannis Putelis, and he has told me that I need to be talking about my book more.
mm-hmm.
And he's like, and I'm like, every time he says it, I say, Giannis, the book doesn't even come out until 2027. You know what year it is? It's 2025. And he
Okay.
says, doesn't matter. He says, talk about it every time you open your mouth between now and then. So I'm taking Giannis's advice. Do you see all these books right here? From right there all the way to way past Moe over there.
Yes, sir.
Basically, that's not limited to, but every single one of those books is pretty much a reference inside of the book that I'm writing.
Incredible.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of research. The book currently, so when in the literary world, what you do when you get a book contract with a publishing house is that the publishing house immediately puts out a news release that says, "Oh, this person is writing a book with this title for us," to kind of like stake out your territory,
Right.
in case anybody else is thinking about it. At least they'll know that you're thinking about it too. And so, like, over 2 years ago, this project, when it comes out in 2027, will have been going on, I think, for 3.5 years. So behind the scenes, behind what you see when you watch the render, when you hear Bear Grease, always right past the words that are coming out of my mouth, just right back here. Not so much here or here, but right in here. The book is throbbing and has been for years. But we're actually...
There's a flow of literary creativity right behind the render.
I hope that's what they call it.
Do you have a title for it?
Well, yeah, American Bear.
I feel like the longer it goes on, and especially if you're talking about it for the next 2 years, you might consider a title change to Bear With Me.
Wow, that was good. That was good.
It feels like you've been sitting on that for a while.
Yeah.
It just came to me. That's actually we've already peaked. I'm going to go ahead and
that'll be the subtitle. Bear with me. It's been a while.
Hey, believe me, Isaac, I've known him a lot longer than you, and that's truthful.
Well, the book is the biography as never before told, and I can say that with like great certainty. Like there's biologists that really know bears. There's anthropologists that really know ancient peoples and hunting. There's American historians that really know the deerskin trade, like Steve Rinella and Randall, and the books that I've been a part of with them even. There are modern biologists that understand the bear-human conflict that's going on in America right now. Never before has all of that been put together in just like a truly wild story. And and I'll be done with the manuscript by February 1st. So I've got 3 months. And so like right before we clicked on this render.
2 or 3 books in 3 months.
Well, it's been a couple of years and we've only got this far. No, it actually wasn't anybody's fault that the project was extended a year completely because of like calendar details and publishing stuff.
Yep.
Which I'm grateful for. Actually, today I would be cool if they were like, hey, we're going to put it off another year. You've got a whole nother year. I mean, the book would be so much better. I mean, these people that are writing books like really fast. So, Giannis, that was for you. I hope you enjoyed that. And I told Giannis that, like, what if I tell everyone all that's in the book? And he said, you won't. Just talk about it. So there we go. But
Giannis Putelis has never steered anyone wrong.
Never. I don't think he ever has.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. So it's deer week, deer central week. I mean, deer time, buck time. It's November the 6th as we record this. This comes out later, but that's why Moe's here. And Bear's in 2 days. He's going to have his annual Clay Newcomb public land deer camp. Bear,
Beware of bear.
beware of the bear. How many people you got coming in for this deer camp?
I've kind of lost count, but I've got at least 25.
25
25
people.
hunters?
Probably not. Probably like 20 hunters, but everyone goes in pairs.
Only 20. Oh, and they go in pairs.
Yeah, because I've got about 20 really good spots, so we're gonna do like a rotation.
That's impressive that you've got 20 good spots in one location.
Hey, let me tell you something.
He calls them-
Let me tell
He
you
calls them
something.
good spots.
If you see Clay Newcomb's Ford Ranger pull up in your public land spot right before
Keep
gun
rolling.
deer season,
Keep rolling.
everything is in trouble. I mean, everything.
We're making
Yeah.
a population level impact here.
It's basically
Yeah.
we have
a
to
deer
be pretty.
drive.
We have to be nomadic. We've had this camp for 4 years, and we go to a different spot every year.
You're like an ancient sheep grazer that just like demolishes the land, grazes it down, and just has to keep moving.
We say that we can't complain about the hunting pressure because we are the hunting pressure.
we gotta make a shirt that says that.
We are the hunting pressure. with Bear's Ford Ranger on it.
And a big spike.
Well, he made me feel better a while ago when he told me where he was actually going this year, and it was out of last year. He was in the middle of some of my stomping grounds. So,
Bo,
And we didn't kill
Bo
any
went
deer.
down there.
yeah, I
last
went
year to
down
the
there
camp.
and took a kid hunting or a young guy
Yes.
hunting with me and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you put my buddy Levi on a bear.
Aaron, he killed a bear where I told him to go.
Yeah.
That's correct.
But we didn't
are
kill any
the
deer.
hunting
Yeah.
pressure.
I feel like you better trademark that before this episode comes out because you got that YouTube crew, the hunting public. That's his next career,
That's
the
true.
hunting pressure.
The hunting pressure.
The hunting pressure. Well, I mean, and we hadn't even heard the best part of it. This is an international deer camp.
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There,
Yeah.
there are
It's got
people,
people from other
coming
countries.
from other countries here.
What are the logistics of getting somebody legal to hunt?
It's just
a
non-resident.
tag.
Non-resident?
Yeah.
But do
Yeah.
they have to have like the hunter safety or anything like that? Or is there an apprentice tag here in Arkansas?
If they're going to hunt by themselves, they have to have hunter safety. But other than that,
Yep.
it's just
If they're
same rules.
if they're
Have to
with
have hunter safety or be with a
with an
21-year
arms
adult.
reach,
yeah, of someone 21 or older.
Older.
that has
That has
hunter
hunter
And
safety.
there's
and all
also like a hunter's ed. What do you call it? It's like a 1 year replacement for the hunter's ed. I forget what it's called.
Yeah. It's like where you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Didn't get a chance to,
Yep.
but,
Yeah.
but I promise I will."
Yeah, essentially. And you get 1 year.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
But-
super
so-
cool.
Last year, how y'all in the whole camp?
We saw 1 deer total
Wow.
and killed a bear. But it was it was one of the
deer,
coolest.
one bear.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in the woods.
Do we need to circle back to 20 good spots?
Well, okay, the year before we
Yeah,
killed
yeah.
6.
Maybe you didn't have any good spots at all.
Wait. The year before we went to my stomping grounds where I've been hunting all year, and we killed 6.
Right.
And the next year I was like, and like a bunch of them were like spikes and stuff, and I was like, man, if we just keep going here, there aren't going to be any bucks left. And so I started bouncing around.
One day there'll be a genetic study of the white-tailed deer back, when Bear was a young man, and they'll be like, in the genetic record, they'll be like, we're not sure what happened, but there was a population level
There's a
decline.
anomaly.
right around here in this 5 square mile area.
Barry, you know why y'all saw 1 deer last year?
What was that?
By what you just said. You said you decided to move because you didn't want to thin the deer out over there where you were at. So
Yeah.
They are
anytime,
thinned out.
anytime you brag about what you're doing or what you have done, let me tell you, I've done it myself over the years, and it'll come back and it'll bite
Yeah.
you every time.
Okay. So you
Okay.
think that he got a little overconfident.
Overconfident, and so it showed up on
Oh,
me.
it definitely did because we were like, surely if
Yeah.
there's 10 dudes out there with guns, and pinch points and stuff.
10?
Or 10
hunting
groups.
pairs.
10 groups.
Yeah,
10
pairs.
groups.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And any deer was
Surely.
legal where you all were at. Doe,
Yeah.
buck, button buck, spikes.
And
10
we saw,
points, it didn't matter.
I think Seymour saw like the flash of one deer and Levi killed a bear. So
What are the wildest names of some of your members? Seymour?
Yeah, Seymour. Shucks, I can't think of any off the bat. The Eagle.
The
Weston,
Eagle.
Yeah. Weston the Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think of
Is
at the moment.
Seabass going to be there?
No Seabass.
He won't this year.
Yeah, Seabass has been at the camp before.
What was the young man's name that I took? He's from in this area, isn't he?
That was Atticus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew it was a kind of a weird name. I
Yep.
couldn't
He
remember
killed
it.
a buck last week. Little buck over here. But yeah,
Good,
he'll be there.
good.
But yeah,
Mhm.
we've got a lot of people coming in. We've got a giant wall tent and a bunch of other tents that we're going to set up tonight.
Mm.
And I feel pretty good about it this year. I think I'm kind of back in my home range. Got a bunch of good spots. Been seeing a ton of deer, and the rut has been picking up like crazy over where I'm at. So I think we're going to get into them.
The real question is, do you have a buck pole set up?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, I'd be careful about that.
Oh wait, a what?
Buck pole. It's
Anytime
just
you have a
like
camp,
it's like
you got a
the,
hanging pole.
it's like the
Yeah.
greatest expression of confidence that you're going to kill a deer.
Yeah. Oh,
You make the
100%.
effort to put up a buck pole. See,
So don't.
I see.
I'm loaning my rifle to a young man from England.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got a couple different countries represented this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. We are the hunting pressure.
We are.
That's us.
Hashtag.
That's
That was
good.
pretty
Well,
good.
man, you know what? I commend you, Bear. That's pretty cool that you're taking guys out, and so yeah, that's cool. Josh,
Yo.
you killed a deer this week with your bow.
I did. First deer in years with my bow.
Now you killed a buck last year with the gun, but you killed
Killed good, decent bucks the last 2 years with rifle.
yeah.
This year I went to scout in a spot, and I got out there, and I think I texted you something about scouting and where I was looking, because it was a place we used to hunt years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Don't scout, hunt." And I was like, I had my tree stand with me, and
It
I
was
had my
the perfect day. A big front had
Yeah.
been like a 3-day front. It was back in the latter part of October. A lot of the kind of central part of the country, in south, this part got it. But it rained for 3 days.
bow. Yep.
Cleared
It was-
out,
and it
got
was
cold,
cold.
dropped
Yep.
25 degrees.
And it was kind of rainy. And when I pulled in, I saw an 8-point grazing in this field. And so I thought he didn't see me, so I tried to sneak up on him. And when I got there, he was gone. But I just decided, hey, I'm gonna put my tree stand up. They didn't seem spooked when I saw him, so I thought, I'm just gonna put my tree stand up here on the edge of this field. And got up there, and it was a tree stand I'd never used before. I got a hand-me-down, so I'd never used it. So I didn't go super high, maybe 16 feet. And sat there for about an hour and a half. And a little buck came walking underneath me, and he stopped 10 yards in front of me, and he's quartering away real hard. And when I shot him, he just bolted. And I felt like I got a good shot on him, but I watched him run maybe 100 yards away before I lost sight of him. And I got down out of the tree pretty quick because my arrow was a full pass through, and I wanted to see if it, had good blood on it. And it did all the way down. And so I thought, well, he probably just ran over there 100 yards and died. So I gave him about 45 minutes probably, and just started trailing him. And it was a really good blood trail. I mean, really good. Best, it was hard to miss kind of blood trail. And man, I got down there. I got down out of the tree about 5:15 and started looking for him. And I looked and ran circles. My Onyx tracks are looks like I've just completely covered the entire area.
Yeah.
His Onyx app actually sent word back to the headquarters to send help.
Yeah.
Just because they were like tracker. They were like,
Yeah.
this
Josh
guy.
is either lost or he can't
Yeah.
find his animal.
Yeah.
my good buddy Brian Bewley came and he came out. He drove an hour out to come help me look for this deer, and we looked for him till 10 o'clock at night. And I was pretty discouraged because it would be the first deer that I've shot and lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty sick about it. And I just like, I'm going to get back up at daylight and go back out there. Fortunately, it was in the low 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah, it was good and cold.
I knew it was going to be okay. The meat was going to be okay. And I went back out and just started scouring again, went down in these draws and looked for them. And man, nothing. I was about to give up. And I thought, I'm just going to walk over in this area, which was actually kind of back closer to my stand. And lo and behold, I crossed through an area where I hadn't been. And he just laid out in the open there.
Yeah.
And so.
Now, for some reason with Josh, feel like every time he has a hunting experience, I need to teach him something.
Yes.
So Josh, he's good at smiling and being like, okay, Clay. But he'd called me and he said the blood trail was just like blazing hot.
Yep.
And then it just
for 120
vanished.
yards.
Just vanished.
Yep.
And I told him, I said, a lot of times when that happens and you feel like the blood's dried up, it didn't dry up, just the deer did something that you didn't expect him to. I mean,
part of the problem was that it was sprinkling.
It was raining.
Like it was raining for
hours. It was raining and it was dark.
Yep.
And basically the deer circled back and went closer to where, and Josh said something that I hadn't thought about, but it makes sense why you would think it, is that he just felt like the deer was going to be running away from where it was shot. Like just,
and
you
into the thickest part of the woods.
You watch it run away from where you shot. You just feel like it's just going to keep going that way forever until it dies. Well, this deer, busted out because the noise came from behind it.
Right.
And then, but it had come from behind you. And so it just basically made a big loop and was trying to get back into where it was.
Yep.
And I tell you, I have found a lot of deer almost by just like pure instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you tracked enough of them.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time you're hoping you don't even have to. Deer falls within 50, 60 yards. It's not that big a deal. But we tracked a deer the other day in Georgia when I was with Ross Chastain. He shot a deer with a rifle that couldn't find any blood, and it was real thick, and we were wandering around. And basically, I just started walking deer trails, just in the area. And I was just like, eventually I'm going to see blood. Anyway, finally did. Just like skipped from the last blood, which was basically where he shot the deer, to like 60, 75 yards. I found a little bitty speck of blood on a deer trail that was kind of a little different direction than we thought. Anyway, you just kind of got to maybe not use your, you just got to think about what the animal's going to do. Is usually going to want to get back to where he came from.
Yeah. And man, I did not want to lose that deer. And I just kept looking.
Mm-hmm.
Really glad I got him.
Now, Moe, you hadn't got one yet.
No. I've hunted several days. I hunted some during the muzzleloader type season, or alternative weapons, whatever they call it here in Arkansas now. And I bow hunted a few times. I bear hunted a couple of days during that. Once with my bow, and then once with alternative weapons. But seen a few does, seen a couple of small bucks, but nothing of much size to anything. I've seen a lot of sign where I've sat in some stands, and I've done a little bit of slip hunting in the rain when it was raining those days a couple of weeks ago, when it was the end of that muzzleloader season. But like Barry said earlier, they're making lots of sign right now. They have been. They're probably doing more doe looking for right now than they are making sign. But but they're going to be in those areas where that's at, or where the does are bedding. So.
Mm-hmm. Barry, you had to call Moe the other day to get some intel.
Yeah. Well, I was after a big buck, found a big rub line, and there were 15 scrapes in a 300-yard stretch.
Holy
like
smokes.
2 miles from the road, down on some real thick stuff, like right where you would think a big buck would be. That's why I was in there.
Like to hide out.
Yeah. And I went in there, ton of sign. Sat it once, had a spike come like 10 feet from me, but that was it. Then the next time I sat it at 9:45, I see back behind me, I see the buck. And he was a big, gnarly 6-point, like crooked rack, but an old buck, like a big, ugly 6-point. And I was hunting with a self bow, in a ground blind, and he came like 22 yards from me, trailing a doe, goes into some brush. The doe runs out like 20 yards from me. I bump up, get within 10 yards of her, and the buck never comes. I think he winded me. It was kind of once the thermals, weren't so dominant and the wind kind of took over. Anyway, I was kind of stumped at what to do, and so I consulted Moe, and basically he told me to find a finger ridge that's coming down into that. It's way down in a valley on a creek bed, and so as soon as the thermals aren't the dominant, once the wind takes them over, then it's just swirling in there. And there does happen to be a nice finger ridge coming down there. That
any sign in there?
I haven't been in there yet.
He hadn't been to it yet, but I told him, I said, I bet there's some rubs on that finger
coming
ridge,
down that finger ridge.
He's probably bedding up higher because they like to bed higher.
Mm.
Yeah,
he's probably coming down to check for does or check his scrapes, whatever in that. So I've killed several bucks that way. That's fine. Most are signed down low, but kill them way up above where they're making the sign. So
that's a hot tip. Hot tip.
Tips and tactics by Moe
What
Shepherd.
have you been doing?
Working a lot.
Yeah. What do you do for work?
Well, I've been making videos and taking pictures.
You were hunting with a First Light guy.
Yep, up in Ohio.
What's his name?
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
He's the new
baseball
ambassador.
player?
Yep. Heck of a baseball player, I'm told.
Yeah.
I've watched him play ball.
Yeah. He's got a great property up there, and we did not do any good. The rut hadn't really.
You were just hunting for like one day, though.
2 days. Yeah, it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
Did have a fun experience happen, a new experience. We were hunting this big timber right off a food plot, maybe 200 yards, not seeing anything. And this little button buck bolts straight into the woods from the food plot at us, gets to within 20 yards, hangs up, then comes right up, starts licking the ladder stand to the set we're on, makes 2 full circles, comes back, licks the ladder stand again, and then goes back to the food plot.
Wow. What do you make of it? Witchcraft?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was no reason for him to come in there. I didn't see anything in the food plot that chased him in there or anything. He just came straight to us on a beeline.
He must have smelled you.
He liked it.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've talked a lot. Any new tattoos?
No new tattoos.
Oh,
No.
just all the same.
The old standards. Yeah, I don't think there's much news fit to report. I've been hunting a little. Did a little guiding up in Wyoming for mule deer and antelope.
Oh,
That was
really?
quite a bit of
Guiding?
fun. Yep.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Successful hunt.
Tagged out all my hunters. Some
Awesome.
easier than others. It is remarkable. I think it skews, and I think we're in a weird world. I think there are a lot of people who like to hunt that don't hunt or have as much experience hunting as us, but just some remarkable people. All of them great and friendly, and I really enjoyed it.
The clients.
Yeah. But I had a guy show up and say, I got a new barrel put on my gun. Haven't shot it yet.
What?
Okay.
We're going hunting this afternoon.
Yeah,
and
he said, do you have something I can shoot at on the property? And I was like, tell you what, I'll bring my gun. And we'll start off with that. I know it's on out to 400 yards. So, and maybe if it gets slow midday, we can shoot at something, but we're shooting my gun. We're not shooting your gun. You haven't shot it. Like, it's a remarkable
he was okay
thing.
with that?
Yeah. And he shot a deer. He shot a good deer.
With your gun?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it ended up being a layup shot at like 140 yards. This, 160-inch 4x4 was bedded 140 yards from the road and just looking out. And,
Yeah, I have 2 friends I work with that they didn't go together, they went separate, but they went to Wyoming on mule deer hunting a couple of weeks ago, and they both tagged a mule deer. One of them really nice, the other one was just a smaller mule deer, but they were both had good hunts. They saw several mule deer and said they had really a good time. So
yeah, it's incredible up there. It's funny hunting. I've only ever hunted public land up there, and it can be a little hard. A lot of it's landlocked, and what's not is pretty overrun, right? And so I'm taking these guys hunting and putting them on deer that are much bigger than I've ever shot. I have never shot
So
a nice
private land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way it works in Wyoming is you have to be a licensed guide working under a licensed and insured outfitter. And he had a couple of leases and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, deer stories. Some of my favorite episodes of the year are the Bear Grease deer stories. I've been trying to figure out, we've done this 5 years now, and every year we've had, I think, at least 2 deer stories episodes. Usually there's between 5 and 7 stories on each episode. I wish somebody, not me or not like a part of our group, could analyze these stories to help me understand what kind of stories that we like to tell. Because, stay with me, there's a million deer stories.
Bear with you.
Bear with me.
But please bear with me.
Deer with me.
Deer with me. This little idea may come to fruition in 2027.
After the book.
After the no, because when I find when I sit down with people and Josh has been helping me gather stories, I look at someone that I've come to them and maybe they don't know a thing. Many of the people that have been on some of these episodes had never even heard of Bear Grease or podcasts at all. And so I'm like, and they go, well, I mean, I've been like deer hunting my whole life. Like, what kind of story do you want? And like, what would I say to them? Because I'm not necessarily looking for a big buck story, but I might be. I mean, one of the best stories that I personally have is the story of my saga with moose. And really, it's a story of the patterns of a really big buck. It was a buck that my neighbor ended up killing,
Yep.
And so, like, I'm very interested in, like, a great deer story that has some great deer behavior, something unique, something a deer did that you never would have predicted that he would do.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. But then also the story of Gary Farmer on this episode, who the story wasn't even about deer hunting. They'd done a deer drive. He was taking a nap. His buddy pulls up on a mule and, says, hey, hop on. Let's see if she'll ride double. I mean, the story wasn't even about deer hunting.
Yeah.
And when he told me that, I was like, that's a great story.
Yep.
And I anyway, any thoughts on how you would describe to someone, like if you brought your best friend that didn't know any of this and you said, you got to tell Clay a story, what would you say to him?
I think there's 2 types of stories that really do it for me. And it's things that are humorous, not necessarily side splitting, but like where you screw something up or something goes awry or whatever, like that mule story. Or I think this oftentimes comes up more in the turkey hunting stories, but still in deer stories, the things that are sentimental or things that carry weight for something beyond just the hunt.
Yeah.
And like I was just, before we started here, I was saying like some of my best deer and certainly my favorite stories happened like that. Like my favorite deer I ever shot, it was a 140-inch mainframe 8 that had broken off both its G1s, just rubbed them slick. So it's really a 6-point. Technically, it was illegal when I shot it because I was in a county that had a 4-point on one side restriction. And I remember like walking up to it.
Law of statute.
Yeah.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah.
I remember walking up to it and being like, well, I was with my dad, I'll tell you that. But I was like, Dad, this isn't legal. And he's like, that's not what that rule's about. This guy is clearly a very mature, dominant.
Dad knew what to say.
Yeah. But we're walking this road in, right? And there's this bedding area right up next to it. And you can't get through it without blowing out these deer. If you're walking in the middle of the day, it's like they're bedded 10 yards from this little path through here. And so we're walking up to it and fully expect to blow out some deer. 3 or 4 does come through and there's this little spike standing in the middle of the road. And I have my camera on me, walking with Dad. And I bend down on my knees and I'm getting a picture because he's just standing there all pretty in the middle of the road. And I'm about to snap the picture and Dad's like, are you going to shoot that deer? I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to shoot that deer. I would never shoot that deer. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And he just reaches down and grabs my head and turns it. And this guy is just standing there like the king of the forest right next to the road, still in the bedding area. He hasn't bolted out there yet, but he's standing there like, I've never encountered something I can't handle. And you guys are no different. He's just proud and this is my spot, right? And he just stood there and I pulled up my gun and I shot him. And it had nothing to do with skill. I did everything wrong, but that's the type of story that I'm like, that's really special to me and I will always remember it. Cool that it was a good deer, but just being there with my dad and screwing things up and it still worked out.
Yeah.
And him asking you that.
Yeah.
Are you going to shoot that deer?
Yeah.
How are you going to shoot
looking
that
at
deer?
this 10-inch spike.
You're like, okay, Dad. Boom. Bear, what would you describe? What kind of deer stories are we looking for? Because I actually gotta now do a little cleanup work with what Isaac said. When I sit with somebody, I tell them I don't want to hear their sentimental, because your story is not necessarily sentimental. I wouldn't call that sentimental.
No, sentimental may not be the.
I'm not disagreeing. That's a great story.
Define sentimental.
Well,
then.
okay.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that happens when you sit down with people. I say, tell me your best deer story. And they go, oh my gosh, you are not going to believe this story, Clay. Are we recording? And they go,
it's true.
They
It's
go,
true.
man, my 6-year-old son, it was his first time to hunt a deer. And they tell me about their 6-year-old son killing a deer.
Yeah.
Which, dude, I have 4 kids. I've dedicated a lot of my life to getting them into the outdoors, and it's incredibly gratifying. It doesn't make for that compelling of a story.
You're
usually
talking about a sentimental story where the sentimentality really only hinges
applies
on
to
that
the person
person.
that's telling the
well,
story.
and not taking anything away from a kid or any of those stories. There's a place for that story, and that's part of my point on what kind of stories are we telling on the Bear Grease Deer Stories, because they got to have a hook, they got to be exciting, they got to have a punchline. I think part of it too, I'm answering my own question.
Okay.
I think part of it too, I told Josh the other day, I would almost rather pick the person I want to tell me a story.
I literally told somebody the other day, I said, these deer stories are 30% story and 70% storyteller.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even like bells and whistles of storytelling. It's not like everybody has to be like an Andy Brown that gives the sound
Wouldn't
effects
it be great if
and the
everybody
details,
was, though?
But it's the character of the person.
Yeah.
Like
well,
it's the way they sound. It's the authenticity in their voice. Anyway.
When I say sentimental, I'm thinking, well, initially I went to that turkey story of the guy in Tennessee where he
Matt
took
Palmer.
took the strap off his gun
and then
and left it.
Now, that's a great story.
Yeah.
It's not like saccharine sentimental. It's not like
Yeah,
super
yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
It's like the relationship. Or in this deer story one, the Uncle Ira, what did he call him?
Ari.
Ari.
Uncle Ari.
The like story of him, just that whole like that connection to someone else, that thing that transcends this. I think that's what I mean by sentimental. But he's a great example
You're right.
of the storyteller talking about dipping, and he used the word wretched.
Wretched.
Yeah,
A wretched in there.
Yeah.
We need to do a deer story, like an all-star deer stories.
Yeah, it's time probably. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because over the past 5 years, there's been
Well,
some
I think people
really
would vote
good
on
ones.
different ones. Because I'm always surprised to me, there's always one story in the episode that's like the best. Like if you had any other thought, I would think you didn't understand deer hunting. But clearly that's like myopic view of like your perception of how you evaluate life. So I'm joking when I say that, but like there's always one that's just like really clear. And then I'll talk to somebody and they'll be like, "Oh, I like that one," and they're all good, or they wouldn't be on there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would say overall, deer stories and turkey stories are the podcasts that I get the most feedback on.
Positive, negative?
Yeah, like people love deer stories and turkey stories.
Okay, let me pass something by you on picking the storyteller. I feel like there are people who are exceptionally gifted with storytelling, and oftentimes the craziest things happen to those people.
They have a
Propensity for
my
some
uncle,
people.
Yeah, my uncle Scott is that way. Incredible storyteller. He's a big old guy, always wears overalls. And
stuff happens.
I'd call him snake bit, right? He just, he was building his house and nailed his hand to his roof. And hearing him tell that story is incredible. But just him fiddling with a climber and getting his knees hyperextended because he slipped out
Sounds
of it.
like he's got some coordination issues.
Oh,
exactly.
definitely, for sure. Going to the bathroom and feeling good about it while hunting, and then putting his coveralls back on and realizing that he had used the sleeve.
Yep, that happens.
And constantly. It's always happening to him, and he's an incredible storyteller. But I'm like, I could count up on one hand maybe this quality of experiences in this realm that I have had, and you seem to have this every week.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the guy on the story, one of the stories of this second episode where the guy's dad loves to hunt and loves to do all that. But his son says he can't hit the broadside of a barn with an arrow.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Bear, what was your favorite story? And I kind of want to open it back up because we didn't have a render about episode 1, which had some incredible stuff. It had Andy Brown about Uncle Ari, but mainly it had Johnny Johnson's story about giving away that big deer.
And had the stories about the deer camps too.
Well, so that was on the second one.
Okay,
right?
You're talking about the first.
Well, I'm just saying I'm opening it up to all of them.
The deer camp stories with Matt Taylor had to be my favorite.
Yeah,
because of deer camp.
And I go to their deer camp a lot, and those stories. So Matt Taylor's son, Weston, is one of my good hunting buddies.
It happens to be the eagle. He's the eagle.
Yeah.
If you see the eagle pull up in your hunting area,
if you see that 1996 Chevy with the bald eagle and the
he has a shirt that says, "I am the pressure."
Yeah,
he is. He's almost tagged out already. He's got one buck tag left.
He no mercy.
He does have the longest running. He has a wild hunting statistic. He has never passed a deer in his life.
He's never
sees him, he shoots
never once. And
if he sees him, he shoots him.
I mean, he's hunted public land his whole life, and
that's no exaggeration. Matt Taylor.
No, I'm serious. Yeah.
Like every deer he's ever seen in the woods while he had a gun, he killed it. He's killed like 21 deer or something, right?
My man does not know what a deer walking away looks like. What's that?
Yeah. Sees a flag. He's like, I saw something weird in the woods today. It was a white flag running through.
You know what it was.
But anyway, so I've gone to that deer camp maybe since I think I was 14 the first time I went there, but those 3 stories, whenever I heard the first one about the antler getting shot, I was like, he better tell the Tannerite story. He better tell the deer jumping out of the truck story, because it's just like those stories are just so iconic.
The greatest hits.
And they kill like very consistently giant public land bucks. I mean, almost every year they've got a wall where like whoever kills the biggest buck every year gets a hat, and they've got a wall for like 30 years worth of bucks, and you go look at all the pictures, and they've got some giant bucks that they kill on public land. And like, I mean, they tell those stories here and there, but like these stories are like the deer jumping out of the back of the side by side, and they get back and he's not there, so those had to be my favorite, just because it's like the way they hunt is a very tough way to hunt, but what I like about it is they've done it for so long. They've got a lot of tradition in their camp, and it's like they just have a really neat camp, and I feel like it's kind of portrayed well through those stories of kind of like what's really like what the camp is really about there.
Yeah. I thought Matt's stories were great.
Was the Tannerite guy the same guy that got kicked in the face?
Yeah, same guy.
And the same guy that.
Maybe we need to get the stories.
Well, those were the 2 stories about this Cody. Yeah, man. Matt's story, that story could have had a way different outcome. I don't know if when you're listening from a production standpoint, like when Matt starts telling the story of him smoking, like Marv on Home Alone.
Yeah.
There's like this real lighthearted, like music. And the story could have been, and the guy was blind.
Right.
And lost you know,
disposing of explosives in a fire is a crazy move.
it just was one of those no-brainer moves.
Yeah.
But Josh, what was your favorite story of all of them?
You know, I really like Johnny Johnson's story because I think a lot of that respect for older people is starting to slip a little bit. And I think that one was a little sentimental to me.
Yes.
I had great appreciation because there was no question. Oh, he shot the deer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about it. And that would have been at a time that Johnny wasn't necessarily the greatest guy in the world, but they still had respect for this old man. And I think that means something to me.
Man, if you hadn't listened to that episode, look up what episode number that is, Josh, if you can. But that story is one of the most unique. And what was so cool about it to me was Johnny, he didn't want to tell me that story.
That's what I was going to say. The setup, because if he had been like, "I got a story for you.
Oh,
check out how good I am."
Right. Well, and he,
you said he kind of told it to you just by chance.
Oh, it was totally by chance. I wasn't even at his house. It was when I went to his place to get him to tell me about like his whole life. Yeah. Which was one of the coolest episodes of 2025.
Episode 314, Confessions of a Former Outlaw.
Okay, that was that one. I was saying, what's the Deer Stories episode?
Oh.
So Johnny had episode 314, which is Confessions of a Former Outlaw. I think, in my mind, one of the coolest stories that we've ever told. And then the Deer Stories one. But yeah, so I was at Johnny's to talk about turkey hunting, and I was just looking at his wall of deer. And there was one that was the biggest, just clearly the biggest. And I just said, "Hey, is that the biggest deer that y'all have killed over in this part of the country?" Kind of just trying to get a feel for how big the deer were. Because sometimes you go into people's place and you see a bunch of deer on the wall and they go, "Oh, these aren't the big ones. The big ones are in my living room."
Yep.
That's actually pretty common.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, yeah, these just in the barn are the ones that didn't make it to the shoulder mount." You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I mean, they were huge deer. So I was anticipating him telling me this is the biggest one. It's like I'd say 150 type inch deer. And he said, "Yeah, that's probably the biggest one, except for, we
gave one away.
One that probably bigger than that we gave away." And then he just started talking about the other deer. And I was like, "Hey, wait a minute.
Let's circle back.
Tell me what you mean by gave it away." And he just went, "Oh, guy, we all kind of shot at the same time, and this guy killed it, and the old man." I mean, he was just like, "Let's keep moving, Clay. This is not that interesting of a story." And so when we sat down and he had the recorder on, I said, "You got to tell me the whole story. Like, give me the whole story." And so he did, and it was pretty phenomenal. I actually had another story on. This is kind of behind the scenes. One of the storytellers, I won't tell who, had a story that they were going to tell me and did tell me that was spurred on by Johnny's story because it was the opposite. Two guys shot, and there was a major conflict over who killed the deer. And to the point that one of the guys went and put his foot on the rack and said, "Okay, well, I'm just going to break the rack. And, you can take half and I can take half," or something like that.
Oh, a real Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
the deer in half.
Yeah. And so,
No, you can have it. You are the true mother.
Yeah. So it was a real ugly story, though. I mean, it was like, just guys just mad at each other.
Kill the energy of the podcast.
Yeah, it was. And so anyway, it just didn't really fit. But there's a lot of stories that don't end like Johnny's did. But I also think that there's a lot of those old guys that, like Ernie in Matt's story, who doesn't really care about the horns that much, which is bizarre to me. Louisdale and Charlie Edwards, the turkey hunting outlaws that we did the series on, Genuine Outlaws. Those guys were deer hunters, and their whole life, killed a lot of deer, and they never kept the horns.
Really?
I mean, they give them away to people. Their horns are just scattered throughout the county. I talked to Stoney one day. When I was doing that interview, and I was like, "What's the biggest deer your dad ever killed?" And he said, "Oh, he killed a giant one time. Big he described it to me, and I mean, I feel like he was describing a 160-inch, maybe bigger type deer. And I was like, man, I'd like to see that. I want to get a picture of it. And he was like, oh, well, we don't even have it.
Don't even know where it is.
He said, Dad gave it away. I was like, gave it away? And he's like, oh, yeah. He said, Clay, he said, those deer, when those horns are stacked up at our camp the week of deer season, he said they mean something to us. Because when they kill a deer, they put the horns on the wood pile. And he said, when we pack up that next Saturday to go home, those horns don't mean a thing to us. And they just kind of give them away.
Even to this day, Stoney says that about himself?
I don't know. I mean, he'd probably keep a big one. I mean, I don't really know. He just said that's the way his dad and them were. And he was talking about himself when he said that doesn't really mean that much to us. But I think the culture around keeping horns is way stronger today than it probably was in the past. I mean, I think people want to keep a set of horns today.
Yeah.
But I know Moe Shepherd does.
My dad, though, gave away several sets of horns. He even killed, he used to go out west in Colorado, and he hunted Wyoming, Colorado, Montana, elk hunted, mule deer. He killed some big mule deer, and he'd bring them home, and he'd show them off. And then I remember when I was like 10 or 11 years old, some people came by, and he was showing them the horns of a big mule deer he'd killed. And they said, well, those are nice horns. He said, well, do you want them? They said, yeah, we'd like to have them to take home or do whatever. And he just give them to him. And I remember him doing that several times when I was a kid growing up. He didn't think much about the horns, so.
Yeah. Can't eat them.
Yeah.
What was your favorite story, Mo? Which one stood out to you?
I really liked the one that y'all were talking about, but as to hit on another base, I really liked the one of Waylon Valines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it hadn't been a monster buck, that's the way it all took place. Him hunting, him missing it, not getting to go back for a while and going back, and that's what he done, sat on one of those finger ridges. Did you hear that in the story, Bear?
Mm-mm. Or I didn't notice it.
Yeah. Him and his wife went with him, and they went and sat on a finger ridge a ways from where he had, because he said it looked like a better place to maybe ambush a big deer, another good deer. And anyway, that's where he wound up killing it. And it's one of them where it don't happen very often. It's happened to me twice my whole life, where I walked up to a deer and it's a lot bigger than what I thought it was when I put my sights on it or slung an arrow at it or done something to it, and that don't happen very often. And it happened for sure on his.
That deer, I wish you could see it. It truly is just giant. It doesn't look like it came from the Ozarks. It's a mainframe 8-point. I mean, just like imagine just a clean 8-point. Now it does have a number of kickers, but they're just, and I think they're on the G2s. I can't remember. It had some, maybe some on the bases, a few, but just, I mean, I can't remember how long the tines were.
Is that the
Way
one
over
that
12.
he said like it was 6.5 at the base and 4 at the tips?
Yeah,
Yes.
plumb out to where they flattened out on the end.
Just kept its mass. And and this is just on this old rocky ground over here. So yeah, that was a good story. That was a great story.
Like I said, the way the whole thing transpired, it was really a great story. And then them dragging it out, and then he even made that comment. Even though he's got that deer and got those horns, I don't know if he's got it mounted or what, but he even made that comment that I usually don't never hunt for horns. I just hunt for the deer because I like the meat. And, and sometimes that's who kills some of them monster deer. So
Yep. What other stories were in there?
I had Father Stephen Gadberry's story about him and hunting with Jesus.
That was a good opening. It was like, it threw me, I thought it was going to be one of these, deals like hunting with Jesus,
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, actually, I mean, like for real, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. He got a good chuckle out of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, those fighting bucks with
Richard Fott. So Richard Fott, he's worth talking about. He is pretty well known. He's been on the Southern Outdoorsman podcast several times. I think one of their Andrew and Jacob's best, like most listened to episodes ever was with Richard Fott.
I listened to one of them that he was on.
Yeah, you were on there the other day.
I sure was.
All famous and
Looking
Yeah,
good.
looking good on there.
Yeah, I think it turned out really well. Got a lot of comments about that episode about the rub lines and everything on it.
Yeah.
So
that guy's killed some big deer.
Yeah, he really has. And
I tell you what, I got to talk to Richard, and I really enjoyed visiting with him because he's real open about it now. He was a pretty rough guy back in the day, and when he was doing a lot of his hunting, and man, he completely turned his life around, and he's a really pleasant guy to be around now. And got some great stories. He's a really good storyteller.
He told us a story. It's not on the episode, but about fist fighting a bear.
Yeah.
Literally
outside of a bar.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like
fist fighting a bear and losing. Big time.
Yes.
Well, that's not entirely surprising.
Yeah.
I really liked his details about like the kid carrying the stand in and it clanking against his ankles every time he took a step, and then seeing the blood come out the aluminoc.
Yeah, coming out the hole.
Yeah, that's crazy. That I mean, like he said, he was on public ground, and then 2 bucks of that caliber fighting. I wonder how that deer, like if that deer like saw him right there, or like if it was just so
in the moment.
Yeah, just out of breath and had so much adrenaline pumping that it just like didn't even notice him. But I wonder how he even got 4 steps from a deer. I mean, you'd think that
the wind was howling, and he told the keys to it. And I think that was the key, is that the wind was howling. And I mean, sometimes you'd be surprised what you can do if it's real windy. And I think when those bucks are that focused on one another, they just lose focus of everything else, And so, I mean, I think he had 2 things going for him there, where he could just get up to him. And, I mean, I don't know.
I agree with that because, it's been several years ago, but I was sitting on the ground on just a little blind place I'd built, and I'd been there most of the morning. It was probably a couple hours after daylight, and I heard racket, and I thought, what is that I'm hearing? It sounded like somebody banging rocks together. And then, I mean, this was like in the late 80s, probably 87, 88, 89, and when I could still hear real good. But I sat there for a while, and then it would stop, and then it'd get louder. And I could tell it was just around the ridge from me. I was on a bench. And so I got up and started slipping towards it. And the closer I got, the louder it got. Well, I finally got over that crest of that there. It was on like a white oak bench where there's, they're usually pretty open. I mean, there's still some brush, but you can see very good. And out there, probably 100 yards, I could see moving, got looking. It was 3 bucks. And they were fighting, like what his story said. They would want to get down. And I remember when I first saw them, there was 2 shoving each other, and I was muzzleloader hunting. Had an old renegade muzzleloader with open sights. I thought, oh gosh, I got to get closer, And I didn't really know what to do, but I thought, well, they're occupied, and the wind was okay. It was blowing hard that day. And so I started slipping a little bit closer, and by the time I seen moving again, and that 3rd buck run as hard as he could run, and I still remember today, did that real loud, brr, brr, like that, and just rammed the side of one of them that was
really
fighting with the other one.
Really?
And spun them around, and they went to butting each other, and this one would fight on it, and I just kept getting closer, and I got about probably 50, 60 yards of them, and got down on one knee and got me a rest and took a shot and shot my muzzleloader, and they just kept fighting.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought, oh, crap, I missed, And back then, you got black powder, you got a patch, you got a ball. That didn't have all the fancy bullets in. So I go to reloading, and here they come. They start coming towards me, fighting, and then one rams another, and I'm trying to load and watch the deer and do all that.
And do you know which one you shot?
Yeah, they were all 3 wound up. I think they would have been 8 points, but one was a little bigger. He had taller rack, and that's the one I picked out. He was one of the 2 that was first fighting together.
Yeah,
and one of the smaller of the 3 is the one that run and rammed into the other ones. Anyway, to shorten the story up a little bit, I finally got my gun loaded, and as they was coming towards me, they were probably 30, 40 yards. The 2 were fighting, and this one was behind them, the bigger one. I thought, well, why is he behind them, And I got ready to shoot again, and he just collapses. It's the one I'd shot. But he paid no attention to that shot. He was still wanting to fight with those other deer.
Wow.
And they
Why haven't you told me this story
Yeah,
before,
no doubt.
Mo?
You just wasted that. We could have used that next year.
This is the best story I've heard you tell.
Well, it brought to my mind. I mean, I've got so many stories over the years. I've hunted so much. I mean, I just thought of it when you all got talking about.
Oh,
about
that's
that guy
cool.
fighting
That's
and
cool.
stuff.
Moe's forgotten better stories than you've ever
Exactly.
had.
I know. It's true.
Exactly.
That's wow. That's cool. I was going to ask you if you'd ever really seen deer just
Yeah, I mean they were getting
fighting.
that, and they weren't monster bucks, but they were nice mountain bucks, all three of them. And like I said, I think I killed the best of them, but I'm not absolutely sure I did because they were all moving and there's open sights and all that. But I think I killed the best rack one, but they were all, in that class of 15, 16-inch deer, 8 points, just good mountain public land deer. So
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I've seen plenty of deer tickle their horns together. I've probably seen some young deer get fairly serious fighting, but I can't say that I've ever seen like what Richard saw or even like that where
like I said, I remember my dad was still alive then. He died in 91, and now I know it was 2-3 years before he passed away. But when I brought that deer back home and showed it to him, we were looking at it. There was holes poked in it when we skinned it out where they'd been fighting pretty hard, where the other horns. And that may have been from where that smaller one run into that one I shot, 'cause like I said, they had their down look close to the ground doing, shoving, push like that. And that one just made 2 or 3 loud grunts and just wham, knocked that one from away from the other one. So,
wow.
But it's pretty awesome. And the only other time I seen that happen was another time I was bow hunting. I didn't kill a deer, but I seen a buck with a doe out in a little clearing in an old home place where I was sitting watching some acorns in there. I was feeding on acorns early in the season, and the buck was kind of piddling around, and at that time, this was several years after that, but I was trying my grunt call out, and I would grunt, and the doe and the buck would both look towards me, and then they just go back to piddling. He'd kind of sniffing around like they do behind her, and she was mainly just eating acorns, and they was probably 50, 60 yards from me. I was up standing on an old limb on a white oak tree, hunting with my recurved bow, where I used to hunt a lot when I could climb trees easy, but I remember hearing sticks breaking, and I looked, and a really nice buck came from behind me somewhere and came running, grunting, bah, 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 like that. And he ran and knocked that deer down, that smaller buck. And they fought just a little bit, and then he walked over and nosed the doe around, and they took off and went the other direction, and I never did see him no more after that. But
wow. Came and took it from her.
yeah.
From him.
But it wasn't much of a fight because he was a lot bigger deer, but I tried grunting and everything, and he never paid me no attention once he was with that doe. And they took off. But that's the 2 instances I've seen bucks kind of spar off in the woods like that. But that first one was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Bear, have you ever seen deer fight? Pretty
One
serious?
time with Lee Walt, whenever I was like a little kid, we saw 2. I don't think they were giant bucks, but 2 bucks
Down on Turner Neale?
They were racked bucks, and they fought a little. But I've never really seen them other than that get after it that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got one more Deer Stories episode going to come out.
Yep.
I was only going to do 2, and then the stories were good, and I like doing these, so we're going to have one more that's going to come out.
Yep.
Next week. So
That's some of the best news I've had all day.
wow. Okay.
Slow news day.
You wouldn't believe the people, friends of mine, and even family members, people I work with that I talk to on and off, that they always ask me throughout the late summer and early fall, are they going to do deer episodes? Are they going to do deer episodes on bear grease? I said, well, they probably will. I said, I don't know for sure, but I figured I'd say, and a lot of people say that's some of their favorites is the deer stories, and like Isaac was talking about the turkey stories in the spring. Yeah. They really like them. So,
well, now that you burned up the best story, we'll cut that, and we'll have
cut
it
that section out. Yeah,
I'm almost serious. I might tell a story on this next one.
Ooh, oh,
yeah. Don't
tell the same one.
I've got it. Yeah.
What if Clay told the same story every year?
Well, that's the thing. That's the interesting thing about stories, and when you start going to people time and time again. I mean, I've almost literally deer hunted my whole life, and there's only so many stories that are really great.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's not like you just have unlimited, really unique stories. And most people, when you go to them and say, "Tell me your stories," they've got one or two, maybe three that just are really great. And then, and so I mean, they're hard to come by. So I'm dipping into the obscure story category. One of my stories may have to do with an explosion. Matt Taylor brought it to mind. Have you ever heard me talk about an explosion while in the vicinity of deer hunting?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I think
You've
I've told
told
you
me.
about it.
Were
I
you-
was trying
were
to
you-
remember
about
if
it.
I ever told it on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Were you hunting near
don't
Matt
think
Taylor's
so.
deer camp? So there I was, middle of the woods.
with Cody?
Yeah, I don't know if you've told it on the podcast, but I know the one you're talking about. You told it to me.
Yes, I'm thinking about telling that story as a rebuttal to Matt's story, and then yeah. So anyway, I'm it's possible you might hear from me, but man, me and Isaac Neale are going deer
Maybe you'll
hunting this
bring a
week.
story back.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Last time we hunted for an extended period of time, no stories.
no, none stories.
That was tough.
Yeah, we went to Illinois, and it's the first time in my life, and don't you ever use it against me, world, that I went on a fully guided whitetail hunt. I mean, I just never done that in my life. We
Yeah.
were offered.
You were invited.
I was
Yep.
invited like 2 weeks before it happened, and it was like, hey, you could go to Pike County, Illinois, on a fully guided whitetail bow hunt, and it just worked. I wanted to go. Isaac went with me to film, and we hunted for 6 hard days, and I mean, didn't kill a buck.
I think we hunted for 7.
Probably
We were slated for 6, and then you were like, let's do one more, which was Halloween.
You're right. Yeah, and it wasn't it was, you can be in some great deer country and not kill a deer
Hey,
with
you
a bow.
told me about that trip after you got back.
Yeah.
You said it was crazy to be in such a place like that and not get any opportunities at anything. So
Yeah.
We
yeah.
saw one shooter.
yeah,
far
one or
away.
two. Yeah. I think we saw 2 actually. You
Oh,
remember
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
day we saw the one out of the back of the blind?
Yep.
And then we saw
Yep.
one more.
Oh, yeah.
But so anyway, we're right in the middle of it right now. So Barry Newcomb's been hunting a lot. Saw 4 bucks yesterday. Anyway, we're making stories as we speak.
Yep.
So man, thanks everybody for listening to Bear Grease and Lake's Backwoods University, Brent's This Country Life. Means a lot to us. Live tour. There's still tickets for 5 of the 6 live tour destinations: Birmingham, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Sold out. Thank you so much, Fayetteville. That means a lot. I'll never forget you because of it. Dallas and Austin.
Were you at risk of forgetting Fayetteville?
Well, what I meant by that was just in the MeatEater sphere
Yeah,
that I operate,
It's sold
like
out
in 3
behind
days.
the scenes.
That's awesome.
Behind the scenes, this corporate stuff that happens. They were like, "Hey, do you think Fayetteville would do good?" Because all the other cities are huge.
You stuck your
metropolises.
neck out. And you
Yeah,
said,
and
yes.
I said, "Come
He
to our
vouched.
little podunk city."
He vouched for Fayetteville, and
Yep.
And
Fayetteville showed up.
Showed up, baby.
and probably most people that's going to it don't even live in Fayetteville.
Yeah. Are you going?
Yeah, we got a table.
Yes.
We
All
did
right,
too,
Mo's got
Mo.
a table. Good.
I'm taking my friend Brian Bewley with me.
Ron Bewley. Is
Yeah,
he?
He's the one who came and helped me
drove
look
an
for my
hour.
deer the other night.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pretty
Oh
good
yeah.
trade.
Good.
So last time, weren't you gonna give it away to a random listener
I
or the
did.
first person to come help
I
you
had a couple.
track
I had
deer?
a couple of. I mentioned it to him, and he said, "I got to get tickets." And I said, "Sorry, pal, they are sold out. But you might happen to have a connection who
Yeah.
has."
We got ours the first
So-
day. They come available through the
Yeah,
deal.
they sold out before just with the pre-release.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
first day on the pre-release
Yep.
is when we got ours.
Yeah. So the other shows will be really great too. They're just in other places.
Yep.
So all right. Well, thanks guys. Mo, good to see you. Good
Good
luck
seeing
hunting.
y'all. Good seeing you again, Isaac.
Yep.
And of
Always.
course, Bear and Josh, always good to visit with y'all.
Yes,
So.
sir.
Yep. Well, keep the wild places wild because that's where the bears live.